back now live in Washington, D.C. with Dan Raviv. Dan, I want to ask about other reactions so far we've heard from lawmakers and from the Democratic candidates, and about that possibility that has been raised about gun control reform. Could these lawmakers come back in session from their recess and get it done?
It's worth keeping in mind, the president ordered that flags be flown at half-staff at the White House here in Washington and other federal buildings all over the United States. And the president will be speaking at the White House at 10 a.m. And, well, we know what he's like. He may try to be dramatic and announce that he supports something that he never supported before. But Congress is out of session this month, as you say. And so some Democrats especially say, for the sake of gun control, that the Senate and the House should come back to town, especially the Senate, to pass background check legislation that the House already passed. Let me read you some tweets from Democrats who are running for president. The top man in the polls, Joe Biden, former vice president, he wrote on Twitter, "We can't fix a problem if we refuse to name it. White nationalism, an ideology emboldened by a president who stokes the flames of hatred and coddles white supremacists." That would be Biden, and other Democrats, by the way, try to insist that President Trump himself is encouraging violent white nationalists. Elizabeth Warren, the senator from Massachusetts, also running for president. "We need to call out white nationalism for what it is, domestic terrorism. It is a threat to the United States. We need to call out the president himself for advancing racism and white supremacy." Obviously, people who support President Trump say this is entirely false and unfair. Here's Pete Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, also running for president as a Democrat. "Our president isn't just failing to confront and disarm these domestic terrorists, he is amplifying and condoning their hate." So President Trump will say all of that is false, and it could well be that at 10 a.m. today, he'll also say he's taking action. He says he's been on the phone to members of Congress, as well as his Attorney General William Barr and the head of the FBI. We'll have to see what Mr. Trump actually says.
Absolutely. That speech is just a short time away. Dan Raviv for us live in Washington. Thank you so much for bringing us the latest reports. Meanwhile, authorities in